San Francisco, California, the Bay Area, the tech capital of the world. Today, the esports world takes center stage as gamers from a global community of over 30 million face off for a chance at a title and their share of $100,000. Speed, skill, and a clear understanding of the physics of the game will elevate one squad above the rest. 14 teams have already punched their ticket to Santa Ana for the grand finals later this month, and today we will crown the last two contenders. It's the West Regionals of the Universal Open Rocket League, and it's coming to you next. What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to the fourth and final regional here of the Universal Open Rocket League event out of NBC Sports Bay Area. It is the Western Regional. There's some beautiful shots of my hometown, actually. I'm awful happy to be here and celebrating some esports and Rocket League on TV. We, of course, are going to send two final teams to join the 14 others that have already qualified for the grand finals in Santa Ana, California at the end of this month. There's a live look in at our bullpen as all the players are getting warmed up and ready for the tournament here. As I mentioned before, only two of these teams are going to be able to make it through into the grand finals in Santa Ana, which is coming up in just 2 short weeks. What's up, though, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the studio. I'm Kevin Naki, your host for the day, and of course, we are joined alongside, as always, by our lovely and wonderful casters and analysts. We have Waypunk, we have Quinn Lobdell. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. Had some fantastic regionals up until now. Got the last one here. Cannot wait to find out who the last two teams are who are going to the finals.
Yeah, you're not the only one who calls the Bay Area home, Kevin. Me too as well. So I hope that these guys can do the Bay Area justice. San Francisco, we better see some good Rocket League today.
That's right. Well, we are supposed to get some good Rocket League, but let's break down the format of the tournament and what we can expect so far. So up to this point, we have already had a series of events to get to this stage. 8 qualifiers happened in July. We've been going through a series of regionals, of which our West Regional today is actually the last and final of those. And of course, in about 2 weeks, we are going to be live in Santa Ana, California, with tickets available to that and live on NBC Sportsnet, as we're going to be taking 16 teams through the grand finals to determine who will take home their share of $100,000. Now, of course, we're playing 2v2 Rocket League here at the Universal Open. A little bit different than the 3v3 you see out of the RLCS on a regular basis. We are, of course, playing soccer, and it is going to be whoever has the highest score after 5 minutes wins. If we get to overtime, there is a sudden death golden goal, and whoever scores that goal takes the game. And with that being said, we've got a lot to break down as far as the teams go today, and kind of hitting a high-level theme here that you guys have been talking about a lot. Obviously, we've had several stops, several regionals where the skill has been, you know, there's not been the best parity at times. There's been some amateur teams, some pro teams that stomped face. Yesterday, I thought we had some great competitive action, but you guys tell me today might be the most competitive. Why?
Yeah, I think there are the most teams here, the most like pro players that people are familiar with in this regional out of all of the regionals so far. There are at least 3 teams I think that could easily be in the top in the top 2. There's Set to Destroy, Sizzle Cobb, which is Jacob and Sizz. That's some crazy, some crazy names here in North America, and then Fibeon, who has been making waves so far in the online tournaments. Looking forward to RLCS regionals.
Yeah, we have just so many great teams. We have players. It's not just the main staples of the RLCS. We have tons of bubble players and players who have history playing in the RLCS beforehand. So there's just no point today we should have any bad games. The quality is there.
All right, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to hold you to that one. We have 4 quarterfinals, though, of course, to get through. First off today, those are going to be best 2 out of 3 games. Fibeon versus Nova Esports going to kick things off for us, though, first of all. As we mentioned before, 16 teams going to the grand finals in Santa Ana, California at the Esports Arena. We are way down there at the bottom in the West Regional, as we've already locked up 14 of the 16 teams that'll be competing for $100,000 at the end of the month. So let's start to dive in and actually look at some of these teams here, of course, because you guys mentioned before, you know, I was talking to you, especially Wave. You said you may not even know who's going to come out of this one. We've had clear favorites over the past few regionals. Why? Is it just that good? We got top-level teams here. Or why don't you know who's going to win? I'm disappointed.
Like I said earlier, Fibeon, Set to Destroy, and Sizzle Cobb. I think I could easily see any of those teams in the finals here. And to say who's going to win at this point, you know, Fibeon, I think, is the only one that is playing with a 2 former teammates from the 3v3 roster. The other two rosters are just two very top-level players who are coming together to make a new roster. So anybody could do it, but I almost want to give it to Fibeon here over Jacob and Sizz over on Scissor Cup. Who's your pick here?
Well, Jacob and Sizz, I think that they're just way too strong. I mean, Jacob comes from Energy Esports. In 3v3 world, they have been the North American regional champs 3 RLCS seasons in a row. I mean, that's quality, right? So if you can do that 3 years in a row, I'm sure these guys can carry it over in 2v2. They're just such a strong roster. And like you mentioned, we have Fibeon. We have so many other great teams. There's players like Prem, for instance, who has subbed and played for RLCS teams in the past. It's just so many great players across so many different teams. It's going to be good.
All right, well, let's actually dive in and get a deeper look at some of these teams as well. We're going to kick things off with Fibeon here, as they were the #1 qualifier from the Bay Area region. It's Hato and Chicago going to be competing for them. Nova Esports playing as the underdog here, actually coming out of the #4 seed in the Northwest qualifier. And we actually have right now Axeltoss standing by with Fibeon for an interview with them. Alex?
Thanks, Kevin. I'm here with Fibeon. We got Chicago, we got Hato. Gentlemen, coming to San Francisco. How are you feeling? Obviously a very big, important event here, trying to get into Santa Ana. You guys are coming in as the #1 seed. How's it feeling coming into this weekend?
Pretty nervous because it's my first LAN. You know, I'll get through it.
Yeah, I'd probably say the same thing, but it's like pretty awesome being here, like just to play a video game.
Yeah, you guys, I know you got a lot of fans. You've been in the Rocket League scene, playing in a lot of tournaments. What would it mean to you guys to qualify for Santa Ana?
It would mean a lot. We've been working pretty hard. It would just be fun, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool because it shows how all the hard work has paid off. So it would be like a reward, kind of.
All right, well, gentlemen, good luck. You have an important day ahead of you, and I'm sure you got a lot of people rooting on you, so have fun. Back to you, Kevin.
All right, guys, so let's take a closer look here at Fibeon. And the first thing that I want to bring up as we kind of kick off this discussion here is we obviously heard maybe first time on LAN here. Quinn, I know you're a player. Talk to me about this. What potential problems could Fibeon run into as a confident team who might be playing on LAN for the first time, though?
Right, I mean, it sounds so absurd to people who are not familiar playing online and at LAN. I equate it to working from home and working in an office, except the other way around. You know, working in an office, you're used to the environment. It's just productive. It's just all about the focus, and that's how kind of like playing Rocket League from home. That's where your career started. That's how you just began as a player, and that's where most of the competition really takes place. When you come to a LAN environment, there's going to be noises, there's a different setup. Maybe you're not used to how things are feeling. Maybe it's a little cold even, but all these things will throw you off your game, and it's all about having the mental fortitude to be able to deal with those problems all at once.
All right, fair enough. Let's go ahead and take a look at our other team who's competing here in the first qualifier. That is, of course, going to be Nova Esports. As we see there, though, two 16-year-old players, so obviously very young. You know, they've got quite the uphill battle in front of them going up against Fibeon here. And so let's actually go to Alex, who's standing by with a word with the team.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Nova Esports. We got Works and Replets. Guys, I'm going to ask you some stuff about the match coming up. Now, I heard coming into today, you didn't necessarily know each other. How has that been, getting to know each other and preparing for today?
It's been fun. I mean, meeting someone else that plays Rocket League in person for like competitively is very cool.
Replets, what do you think?
Well, not knowing him for a long time, like in person, it was cool to meet him.
Awesome. So you guys have had a fair amount of time to prepare for today, and you're coming in as not necessarily the highest seed. You're going up against Fibeon. How are you guys feeling coming into today as a low seed, hoping to make some upsets?
Well, I mean, no one expects us to really do that good, so I figured that if we play really well, then I think we can take them.
They're expected to win, so the pressure's on them.
All right. Well, Nova Esports, good luck, guys. Have fun in the match. Back to you, Kevin.
All right, there we have it from Nova Esports, and just based on jerseys alone, those are fire. So I think I'm supporting these guys right now. But no, real talk here, right? Obviously, this is a lesser-known team. They're going up against incredibly strong competition. Yesterday, we preached fundamental play and everything you have to do to get there. What is the hope for Nova? What do they have to do to try and get Fibeon off their game?
I think there were two things I took away from their interview. One was what you're talking about, playing online versus on LAN. This is the first time these guys have ever met each other, so we'll see how they're able to play sitting next to each other for the first time. But you also heard they think that the pressure is on Fibeon here to get the win. So who is going to come away with the victory? It's a single elimination bracket. You lose in this round here, and you go home. So the work is cut out here for Nova Esports, but Nova Esports there in the orange, Fibeon in the blue. Let's get this one started.
Did you see that? That shot off the post? What? That was incredible. So close. Chicago and Hato starting off strong. And
Hato drops that one through. First goal of this year regional will go to Fibeon.
Chicago and Hato starting off with that shot on the post. That's got to be frustrating, but being on land, they show that they have some fortitude, at least so far, 30 seconds in their first goal. A great touch from Chicago, put off the backboard, actually baiting in both the defenders there.
And with the first 30 seconds basically entirely in the control of Fibeon. You saw the fake kickoff there from Nova to try and gain ball control, but it didn't work out as the reads from Fibeon were too strong. Ball back in the orange corner. And Chicago will try. Set up Hato here. Goes through both the players. Hato's going to pick this one up. Bait up one. Bait up two as well. Drops back down. Chicago, respecting Works, will hang out and not take the immediate pressure shot. And good thing he didn't too. Works really had that one under control. Sets it up for Replitz, who takes a shot, but Hato will get the clear. Back downfield. It's Fibeon back on offense.
Yeah, we've actually seen some great things here already from Works. That shot was really impressive. Ooh.
Oh, Replitz getting just in the way of that one. Hato was up early, but Replitz able to get the save. And now Chicago in to try and take another shot. Can he get it through? No. Works has got this one downfield, and he's got the run. Can he make it? No. Hato will get the save. Is it enough? No. It'll go in, and we got a tie ball game.
I think there was a missed touch here from Hato. It looked like he had the clear. He had the ability to make this. It was a good job from Works to put on target, but that wasn't a strong enough shot. And Hato, oh, hitting the double jump right before he touches the ball is actually going to slow put less power on the ball than he needs to make the save. He tried to put off his own backboard, but unfortunately, not enough power to do that.
Well, Hato with an excellent setup here. Works has got the read, but he's not got quite the altitude. Chicago will come in underneath him. Fibeon regains the lead.
Chicago is such a good player. Look at him to be the star of Fibeon. He's so good. He reminds me of a Garrett G in the making. His positioning so strong. His mechanics great. He's all about effectiveness, and we can see that right there, lurking for the mistouch from defense and capitalizing.
We saw Garrett G with his teammate Dapper win yesterday. And we'll see them again in the finals here. Chicago missing the double bounce, the double tap shot there off the wall. Hato will wrap this one back around. We'll keep the pressure on. Chicago hoping to fake out Works. Actually ends up giving the ball control over, but with the good challenge, Works has to flick it away. Hato will be able to pick it up and move it back into the orange. And now it is Fibeon still on the offense here. A good breakaway gave Nova Esports a tie ball game. But now here's another opportunity to see if they can tie it up once more. Going for the fake. Chicago doesn't fall for it. He'll move that one back out. Hato's in the midfield looking for it. A nice pop. He'll fly for this one, and a good play by Works to get it away, send it back away. We'll keep the ball game at 1.
Something I like seeing there was Hato actually going for that ball. It puts a lot of pressure on the defender to make a great clear, and if he doesn't, Hato's there to stop it.
Hato plays it to the side. Works airborne off of the defensive touch. Chicago straight past Replitz. He didn't even touch it at all. It'll wrap in front of the goal. Works has to put his hood onto it just to get it to cross the goal quickly enough that Hato can't make the shot. And he'll look to pass across to his teammate Replitz, but Chicago's there. Interrupts the pass, intercepted, and back on the offense again is Fibeon. Replitz, a good tackle there as Hato came inbound for the shot. Chicago has to fall back here. Works sitting in the corner waiting for the boost. He'll pick it up as soon as it spawns. And now it'll bounce back into the middle. He'll pick this one up. Full tank, see if he can dribble Hato here. He's not going to be able to get it around the star player right now. And he'll go back across the field. Cross halftime here in game number 1. It's a best of 3. Got to win 2 to move on.
Right, a single elimination bracket. We talked about land being new for these guys.
Oh, what a spot. Can Chicago finish it off? How many touches was this?
This was actually a great save here from Works. Chicago controlling the ball, putting it into space, and we see Works get bumped, and he backs up, hits the jump, but Chicago actually bouncing off the ball and hitting the boost to keep following it. Good job from him to recognize that the opportunity was not over. The goal hadn't been scored yet. He had to keep following up on the play.
Works swung a bit too wide in the goal and actually hit the post. It was very impressive to see him make a save at all to recover that quickly, but Chicago maintains ball control above the crossbar and is able to put that one in. Now a 2-goal game in favor of Fibeon. Works trying to fake out Chicago. Replitz will pick it up off of Chicago's soft touch, and Works has an opportunity here. Hato's there first, and Chicago plays it downfield. Look at this transition. Straight back down, immediately from his own goal, nearly makes the shot, sets it out for Hato, who's got to contest. The breakaway opportunities are real right now for Nova, but Hato will put it over the side, and Chicago Chicago will pick it up, try to transition it back out. Fibeon very much in control of this ball game.
Yeah, doing a really good job actually at controlling the boost game. We see those boost pads all throughout the field. Those big boost pads on the corners and on the sides in the middle of the field, those are huge and give you a lot of boost, and that's what you need to fly to be able to make saves and so forth. If you can control the boost game, if you can get onto those pads before the other team, you can limit their mobility and just their impact they have on the game.
Yeah, anytime you see the pretty trails coming to the back of the car, they are expending boost, and they have a very limited supply. They have to restock often here. Chicago trying to pass hood to hood out to Hato, but it goes wide of the net. Works now picking this one up off the ground, off the bounce. Tries to fake out one, but Chicago, excellent positioning again to get in the way of that air dribble. And now he's going to go for the backwards flick shot. We saw a bunch of these yesterday. Had the follow-up, too. What a beautiful play by Chicago.
This dunk, we see him here bounce the ball on top of his car, and he's actually looking to make sure that he positions himself. So, oh, that dunk was incredible. He positions himself so the ball follows him and uses the backflip to get extra power from underneath. He doesn't get as much height as he was looking for, but by turning around, he's able to follow the ball with his boost and get the dunk. So a very creative play there from Chicago. That's what I'm talking about. This Fibeon roster is so strong.
They continue to run up the score here. 20 seconds left and the game's already over. Up by 4. Fibeon will take game number 1. Nova Esports, definitely the underdog in this situation. And right now, really struggling to gain any real semblance of ball control. Feel like, I don't know. We've seen them try the dribble plays. We've seen them try the long clears. Maybe midfield pass plays is the way to go to try and get the ball in enemy territory. But right now, Fibeon is just clearing like a monster. They transition so quickly back onto offense. The ball spends very, very little time in their half, and they are going to take game number 1.
And one of the great things about that, I was getting a little excited there. One of the great things about what Chicago and Hato do, and we mentioned before, all the best 2v2 teams, they control the pace of the play through boost and making sure they don't just push that ball as far forward as they can. We see Chicago and Hato taking their time. That's a sign of a very strong 2v2 team.
Okay, so something I want to ask about, though, is that it very much felt like even though Fibeon had, God, 13 shots, are you kidding me, to 2, yes, the ball was on the orange side pretty much the entire time. But what I noticed was that they were taking a lot of super aggressive opportunities. The one goal was a breakaway for Nova that we saw. Is this a strategy you expect Fibeon to play against, I don't want to say better teams, but if we get further into the bracket, are they going to stay this aggressive, or is this just because their level of competition?
It's a good point you bring up. The level of competition here, it's something that definitely comes into play. And one of the things that you look at when you play the game is just making sure that at all times, really, you're keeping your options open and not limiting yourself when it comes to defense. So we see Chicago and Hato recognize there are opportunities here that the other team's not covering, and so they put on the pressure and take risks they might not normally take.
I liked the aggression and the confidence from Nova. You brought it up that their goals, they were moving up quickly, they were moving up as a duo and trying to make the goals happen, but maybe one thing they could try to do is just play a bit more of a counterattack game. Play your defense, wait till you see the double commitment from this Fibeon roster, and then move up the field. If you may have a little bit better decision making on when to commit into that sort of aggressive play, they might be a little bit more effective on the other end, because right now they are really struggling to get through the defense of Fibeon in any way, shape, or form.
Fair enough. So you think they got to go after like a really high risk reward style, like they're already down 5-1. Who cares if the next game's 10-1, at least create some opportunities for yourself?
Yeah, I think just trying to find a way, wait till they both commit. That happens all the time when you see both Hato or Hato. You're saying it's pronounced Hato? I believe it's pronounced Hato, actually. Hato and Chicago both will commit on an offensive play. If they're on the backboard, you can easily move the ball down the field and just, they go for those breakaway plays and force them to play a bit more defense, force them to not be as aggressive, give yourselves more opportunities to get the ball into the blue.
Okay, fair enough. So, Quinn, I'll follow up with you on this one, though. We usually ask what do people have to do to try and turn things around, find opportunities. Wave thinks it might be, a bit of outright aggression and stuff like that. What do you see in these guys? Is there any hope that they can string things together and make a more competitive game?
Well, Work's actually doing a good job at putting a lot of offensive pressure. We saw he was really the only one with any shots on the team at all. So it was a great job there from Works. I mean, just to put any pressure at all. Chicago and Hato are so good at using each other to create space. We saw a lot of team plays. We didn't see that from Replitz and Works, and that's what I think is going to be the key. They need to use each other better. They need to position each other and be able to clear the ball to the side corner and have a teammate waiting there who can control the play and be ready to receive a pass.
Yeah, it was weird. Given Nova's interview, and they were like, well, we're not playing with any pressure. There's not many expectations on us or anything like that. I guess I expected them to play a little bit crazier, to at least try to force some more opportunities. I just felt like they were trying to play a safe game and getting decimated by a team who was just better than them.
Yeah, don't discredit Fibeon. I mean, these guys, they were trying to put on a good offense, and they did for for when they had the opportunity to. Chicago and Hato, really, the boost control was the biggest part of that game. We saw them so many times. The ball never left that orange team's half. And when that happens, what you're able to do is you can just go straight after you touch the ball, go straight to their corners, take their boost, and re-rotate back around towards the middle. And because they weren't able to get great clears, you need boost to get clears. It's like a little bit of a, you know, catch-22, right? Without boost, you can't clear the ball. You can't clear the ball without boost. Or you can't get boost, sorry, without clearing the ball.
Totally understand.
Excuse me.
All right, well, let's go ahead and take a look at some information for the tournament as well as we get set up and ready for game number 2 here to see if Nova can actually come back at all. So we actually talked a lot in these regionals about 2v2 versus 3v3 strategy. And a lot of the consensus that it seems like I've come to you guys with is like, in these regionals at least, it's going to come down to less strategy and more who mechanically executes better. But we're real close to the grand finals, and we're about to have all these pro teams here, and it's not just going to be mechanical play that separates these guys, right? There's going to have to be some strategy. So what do you see out of these guys' strategies? What do you think we're going to see in these more competitive matches?
I think that we've talked about it before, that the 2v2 scene being a little bit less developed than the 3v3 scene means that the players are able to rely more on just their straight-up mechanical skill than an adherence to a meta that exists. Because right now, there isn't as much of a meta. It is just who can play better. So we'll see how they're able to implement this here. Can Nova Esports make the changes they need to make as we get into game number 2? I'm excited to see how it goes.
All right, guys. Well, it looks like our game's going to get started here in just a second. Don't forget, this is single elimination, so if Nova loses this game, they will be out of the match. Countdown has begun. Wave and Quinn, it's yours.
Nova Esports on the brink of elimination here after only one game. That's the brutality of a best-of-3. You only get to mess up one time, and they are already starting off right where we left off here with Fibeon up on the offense. Works to try and get the clear downfield, but Chicago rotated early. He'll be there, and he'll win the 50-50. 50-50 being when two players challenge for the ball at about the same time. For us as spectators, it looks like it could kind of go either way, kind of a coin toss, but the players definitely making positioning to try and make sure they win those close touches. Works helping them dodge a bullet there. A bit of inaccuracy also on the side of Fibeon.
Right, we see Chicago and Hato already controlling the other team. We saw Hato playing interference. His main goal there is just to disrupt the other team, not let them clear the ball the way they want to, jumping in front of them, just being a pain in the butt. And Chicago is able to utilize the opportunity, letting Hato herd them into the corner. Chicago can predict where they want to go and position himself accordingly, and that's a huge aspect of both 3v3, but especially in 2v2 play. You need to limit their space. You need to push them somewhere predictable for your teammate.
Chicago's shot towards the net is a bit wide. Works plays it to the side and has Replitz in support behind him. They bring out Hato, and this is a good opportunity for Nova to get on the board. Still scoreless here in our first game. After the first game, we saw goals being scored very, very quickly. Here in game number 2, it's been a little bit slower, and we've just honestly been seeing Fibeon miss. They've had a few good opportunities there. Very difficult shots to hit, but still, not what you'd expect from these star players.
Well, yeah, I would say these shots are almost a little impractical to be going for. They have better opportunities, and I think that if they were a little bit more creative and used the middle of the field a bit better, utilizing that space, they would have a few better goal-scoring opportunities. Instead, they're shooting a little bit too often from the corners for my taste. I mean, I think it's just so difficult and low percentage.
Well, here's a good opportunity. Replitz Works coming down on Hato. They lose the ball control. They clear it very far, and Hato actually just picks it straight up and follow this one along. Chicago rotated back for boost. Chicago had flown for the ball and ended up in the enemy net, which is what made that a good opportunity, but they kind of did not hold on to ball control, and that's, I think we talked about at the end of the last game, there's basically 3 ways to kind of move the ball out of your pitch. You can try to dribble it. Hato's having a shot. He does put this one through. Finally, Chicago messing with the defense. We'll see Fibeon get on the board.
Yeah, we see Replitz here just a little bit misread, and Works actually following him. This is a big mistake. One of the things that you need to do in 2v2 is you need to rotate into the, honestly in 3v3 as well, you need to rotate into the back of the goal. That lets you get your bearings and spot where the ball's most likely to go next. Instead, they overrun each other and get each other's way, and Chicago and Hato able to capitalize on their miscommunication.
They now have the lead. If they hold on to this, they will clean sweep in the first round here over Nova. Hato and Chicago here. Up on offense again. Now Works able to get past Hato, and it's just Chicago in the back. Replitz in the middle. Be watching for this one. That bounce is going to go a bit farther than he was expecting. Now, right now, he just wants to make contact in any way and just keep the ball pressure, keep the ball in the blue, keep their pressure on. But Hato's able to pick this one up. Works airborne very early, and Replitz will have an opportunity here. He falls back, respects Chicago. Does not move up.
And that's maybe a little bit too much respect, Wavepunk. Replitz there had a huge opportunity to score an open goal. He needs to understand and trust his teammate. It looked like Works was definitely going to be winning that interference play. We need to see Replitz there following up on the same page as
Replitz making the save after Chicago missed the first shot. Hato comes in for the rebound, and Replitz is able, with the extra time he was bought by Chicago hitting the backboard, to get the save. They have an opportunity at offense for a moment, but ball control immediately picked back up by Fibeon. Chicago shot towards the net. Replitz over to the side. Works closely in support. They'll take the quick 1-2 pass shot, and Works another opportunity here. Can Replitz pick this one up? This is a big deal to me. If they can make this stay in the blue, they're going to let that one go again. The thing I liked about that move is that they went for the midfield pass play instead of going for a dribble or a long clear, and it definitely worked to get the ball into the blue, but they were not able to keep it there. Now Works with another opportunity to try and carry this one through. Gets it past the defense. Tie game.
Yeah, good air dribble here. He actually waits to get that second touch, and that's what throws off Chicago here. You see him, he gets the first touch, and he waits. He delays that second touch, and it's just enough to beat Chicago and throw off the ball trajectories, the prediction for Chicago. It's difficult to read when players are getting that last extra touch, that extra spurt of speed, if you will.
Hato to pick this one up. 1:17 left to go. Takes a shot towards the net again wide. Chicago's got a wide open net to shoot at, and he shoots in front of Works, so he just flips into the ball, puts that one away. We'll stay tied here in game number 2. Nova Esports really needing the win in this game. A loss here knocks them out of the tournament. Chicago to move this one up slowly. Works just patiently blocks and gets another block again. Replitz, I don't think even believed he would get the block as he came in to try and interrupt over the top, but Hato with another opportunity. Setting this one down. Can he get the second touch? Replitz plays it away, but nobody's home in net right now. They need to get this cleared away. Replitz and Works trying to move this one out in the final minute over the top of Hato. Just Chicago in the back as Replitz sets up in the middle. Works will have that one go the entire length laterally of the field. Replitz to try and keep the pressure on and gets two nice second touches there to send this one away. They're keeping the ball in the blue. It feels like the first time in the series. Replitz into the corner. Hato in net as Chicago comes off the wall. And Works now. He fell back. He's watching this one. 15 seconds remaining in regulation. If nobody scores, we'll go into golden goal overtime. Sudden death, but Hato here. A shot across. Works plays it away. Keeps the dream alive. As the final countdown happens, they can score here in regulation. They move it back down the field, off the backboard. Is anyone there? No, it'll touch the ground. Overtime in game 2.
The best thing we've seen from Works and Replitz to keep this scoreline level all throughout game number 2. It's a huge difference in terms of the play style, is the ability to play good interference. It's so good from the both of them, just not letting Chicago and Hato have their way with them.
Works playing patiently there, trusting his ability to read Chicago. They'll play that one away, but that touch off the hood outdistance Replitz, and that gives Fibeon back ball control. Hato backs off and lets Works have the ball. Chicago now with the boom into the corner. Replitz moves back in the net. Works in behind him. They'll switch the direction of the rotation. Works will play this one all the way back down towards the backboard. They put it into the corner soft. Chicago and Hato both on defense. Works tries to pop it over one, but can't. It's lofted in front. Chicago all the way down the field. It's wide of the net, but the breakaway opportunity, definitely a scary situation there for Nova.
Right, we saw both players overcommitting on offense, and that's something you're just going to have to do sometimes in 2v2. And if Chicago just a little more accurate, that would have stopped the end.
Oh, Works misses the nice setup there from Replitz. I don't think Hato had the boost or the height to get up and get in the way of that one, but they do not make it, and we'll stay in overtime here. 1 minute gone so far. First goal will win. Hato to move this one into the corner. Chicago moves into the center. Hato looks for the pass. Oh, and Works pops this one. Chicago had fallen back already. They get it past Hato. It's just one in the back. Hato's trying to rotate around in time, and Chicago will play it cleanly to the side. Buys his teammate a lot of time. But another solid pass here. Works off the crossbar, and Hato has the breakaway opportunity. Replitz has to move back into his goal quickly because here comes Fibeon.
What a close opportunity there. That shot so close to sneaking in under that crossbar, but it's not enough.
Oh, where is it there? It is. Chicago and Hato connect in the midfield, and they'll win game number 2. After winning game 1, the clean sweep to knock Nova Esports out.
Yeah, Chicago and Hato showing the quality that they have. This is a roster that we see one of the best in 3v3 and also one of the only 2 teammates playing together who also play on the same 3v3 roster, so you expect the synergy to be there. You expect these guys to understand each other, and that they do. I think we saw that.
Can we give hats off to Nova Esports for the adjustment, though?
Oh, yes.
I mean, after a 5-1 shellacking, they turn around, and not only are they doing exactly what we were talking about, they took the pressure to Fibeon. They are actually making sure to break things up in midfield. They were maintaining more ball possession. I realize it doesn't necessarily reflect itself in the shots. 16-5, it was still a huge amount of shot disparity. But kudos to Nova for playing a much better game, too.
They played a much better game, but at the same time, I think part of the scoreline not being racked up was the 10 shots and only 2 goals from Hato. You saw so many opportunities when they were up, making plays that you were saying, like, I'm not sure that's really a good play to go for, but they were this close to scoring so many times, and had they been making those goals, the scoreline would have been very similar to Game 1.
Yeah, don't be deceived by this scoreline. Shots that are very close to being on target, but maybe hitting off the post will count as shots, and we saw quite a few of that. There was actually a lot of great pressure here from both teams, and especially the adjustment, like you mentioned, Nova Esports doing such a good job at being able to control Chicago and Hato. And we see the last goal, the only difference between these two teams. And you know what? They actually had the first opportunity. They missed it, unfortunately, and that's why they're going to be knocked out, and we're going to see Chicago and Hato move on. But credit to them. They had a great performance.
Absolutely. All right, guys, well, let's take a look at that updated bracket. Our first quarterfinal is done. We know that Fibeon is going to move past Nova Esports 2-0 into the semifinals, putting them just one match away from qualifying for the grand finals in Santa Ana. Up next is going to be Sloth versus Chickens, though. And like I said, just based on name alone, I love that one. I don't even know what to say about it. I have no hard-hitting analysis.
Turning Rocket League into a zoo here, man.
Yeah, this is my favorite battle just by the lore of, which is the best animal in Rocket League, I guess.
Sloth versus Chickens?
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right. Okay. All right, guys. Well, it actually looks like we're going to go to an interview here. Axel Toss is standing by with our winners of the last match, Fibeon. Alex?
Thank you, Kevin. I'm here with our winners of that last match. It's Fibeon, got Hato, Chicago. Gentlemen, first I want to say I'm such a huge fan of you guys right now, especially you, Chicago, pulling out the crazy stuff there in that first game. But I want to get your thoughts on that series, guys. You won 2-0. You didn't drop a game. And now you're moving on to the next round. So how does it feel getting that match out of the way, and now you're ready to go for the next match?
It feels good. They played good, and we played good. I guess we just played better. Yeah, it was fun.
It's a good way to put it. Chicago, thoughts on that?
Well, that was kind of like our first series, so it's us getting comfortable. So I think now that we got a 2-0, like a real confidence boost, I feel good going in the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, talk to me about that too, because LAN environment. You guys are pretty young. Your first LAN as well. As a player, how do you kind of get in your zone as far as when you're jumping into that first game? You're in a new setting. It's not necessarily from home, right? So what are the key factors for you to make sure you're staying in the zone and you're playing your game?
Confidence, really. Just if you believe you're going to win, you're most likely going to win.
Well, just zone into the monitor, I guess, and you're like, I'm just playing Rocket League and just have fun.
All right, guys, it's been super fun watching you guys play. I wish you the best of luck in your next match. That's going to do it from here. Kevin, back to you guys at the desk.
All right, well, there we have it for quarterfinal number 1. In just a minute, you see our players warming up there in the bullpen. We're going to have quarterfinal number 2. It's going to be Sloth versus Chickens. The next quarterfinal, the Universal Open Rocket League West Regional here on NBC Sports Bay Area.